Today, I'm going to go over the Warbonnet Superfly 4th season tarp. Now, I've had a lot of good use out of this tarp, and so I feel pretty good about being able to make a pretty good review of it. But first, I'm going to get an opportunity to tell you about one of my acts of what I believe are good due diligence that I am sometimes bad at doing when I'm tired and tearing down the tent. And I'll talk through that while I'm trying to fix this. So, there we go. So one of the things that I've come to discover and learn you should really make sure to do with your tents is, with your tarps, is to put away the cord or keep them arranged in a nice, easily maneuverable way. By that, I mean put them into daisy chains or some kind of wrapping mechanism that helps you keep track of where everything is, but you aren't having this problem that I'm getting to discover with you right now. Because it makes it a lot harder to do this, and also it'll always come at you most diligently during the middle of a rainstorm when you're trying to set up. You're going, please God, let this work. I just want to sleep dry and get out of some wet, random, crappy clothes. And so, thankfully enough, both of these ends were not too bad. They weren't too knotted. Although it sort of feels like I might be getting a couple sprinkles here, so we might be getting to actually show this utility pretty quickly. So first, we have set up. Make sure all the lines are free. There we go. And just spread over. And now I will just start snugging down the four corners. So, and this is going to be sort of a light version of how to do this. So this is just an explanation, not a tutorial. So, one corner.
How you doing?
Good. Part of what I first do is I just stake out all the four corners, because that's what you have to do in order to sort of get a basic stable start to it. And then I go to the other side. There you go. 3 out of 4. I'll do the fourth one. Now I'll start going over the tarp's details and some of little sort of tweaks that I've done to it over time that I've picked up from other far smarter people than I. That has helped me with having everything roll out. There's the fourth corner. So, this is the Superfly is what Warbonnet calls its 4-season 10 model, and the reason for that is because of these doors. Now, when you're not using it, well, that's wrong. But essentially, when I'm not using it, when it's not wind, especially dangerous weather or rainy or some other kind of problem, I will keep these guys tucked away like this and just put in a nice little slip knot. And I use quite a few slip knots in everything that I do on these hammocks and tarps, and I have to say, the slip knots have not been the things that fail. So I'm going to go around the other side and tighten that up, and then I'll show you some more about this. So I'm going to start going over the items here, but first, this is how I keep the doors of the Four Season tarp out of the way. So each of the doors has these little triangle connection points, and you can see the other side. So I will take shock cord and just tie them. I do it to both sets. And this is what it looks like for space that we have inside of here with this rather sort of standard level setup. If it's windier or colder or snowier or something, I will set it up a bit more, a bit lower to the ground, or flatter, or whatever I sort of have to manage in order to be able to make things work. Now, for how I tie these down, a common problem with tarps is that the cordage, well, the tarp and the cordage stretch overnight. Now, a way that I've learned from somebody, again, smarter than me, to deal with this in order to keep tension is you make a section of line that you replace, or essentially match up with shock cord, and essentially as this overall loosens, like this guy is actually already a little loose, the connection undercord right here, then the shock cord will keep up the tension. It works pretty well. I have to say that it's not perfect, but it does all right. Now, how I tighten these is that I'll wrap down the line from up here where I have this bowline hitch, wrap it down to the tent stake, and then run it back up to here to bowline hitch and tie off with just a simple slip knot. And if I'm really concerned, I'll do two. Now, part of the nice things of this tarp is that it's got these guy line tie-out points. I have not used them frequently. I've brought cordage along for it when I feel like I might need it, but they are a nice thing to have as being available if the circumstances require. I also, again, use just slip knots right up here, and I use bowline tie-outs up here. This is a prusik knot to slide the tarp up and down tightness. Now I get to do this with one hand. Well, whatever. It looks loose now. So with the tent doors right here, what I'm going to do is show you how these work. So I'm going to do the slip knot that I put on this guy, and go over here, undo the, of course, wrong-sided slip knot because it should have been on the other side. But in any case, this is proof of concept for you, not necessarily how it perfectly looks. I'll have to fix this in post, as it were. So I'm gonna have to set this up on a tripod again and show you in a moment what this all looks like as I do it. Okay. First you're gonna do this one. Converting battery and time. Okay, so what I end up doing with the doors is this shock, and this is the purpose for the shock cord as well, is I will wrap it through from one triangle to the other, and then stake the whole thing down, or do whatever weighting that I end up needing to do. But essentially, you can see once you've got this tight enough, it becomes pretty nice as far as doors go. And this helps with the aforementioned modesty problem that you can have with hammocks a lot. My wife and I have done hammock trips together. she always gets this guy so that make sure that she has all of the privacy that she needs. And I don't want to grab an extra tent stake, but essentially, if I just step on this guy to show, this helps keep everything nice and taut. It's a great setup for being in all kinds of weather. It helps keep everything out, helps keep you from feeling quite as exposed. And when you're done, it all is able to be torn down very quickly back into the format that I originally showed you. So I'm going to reset and show you guys a few more things. Okay, so that's the overview of this hammock, which I think is quite a good hammock. One of the things to note for those who are using it, and Warbonnet does give you the advice on this, you have to silicone treat these tie-on points because they don't pre-do that for you. But it's relatively easy stuff to get. It's like $5 silicone treatments from any hardware store. Why they don't do it themselves, I don't know, because they could probably do it better than any random person like me. These guys are great for, this guy's great for if you're just a tarp camper or if you're a hammock camper. I've had great experiences with this in heavy rain, in lightning storms, in snow. In fact, in a snowstorm that I was in this once, I had it low enough to the ground where the snow came up, slid off of enough of the hammock, off of the tarp, to have the snow higher than the bottom of the tarp. And so I was in this really nice, perfect, warm cocoon. And when I turned down for the night, it was really straightforward and easy for being able to just pack up everything in a nice, dry, snow-free spot and be on my way. Now, just as a tip, before I tear this down off camera, because why do you need to see that? It all just goes back in the stuff sack because there's no cleverness to this. Make sure I don't lose my tent peg. Something that I try to do with this every time is that with each part of these, I'll just do a wrap around my hand and like that, and then just wrap the cord around the little bundle that I just made by wrapping it around my hands, and then just do a little tie or with it going around my finger once to give me a little bit of slack, and then just do a little tie at the end. Nothing amazing, solid, but it doesn't need to be. I just need this to not turn into a knot in the stuff sack. So overall, I'd say this is quite a good product. The stuff sack does not stuff it down super tight. So if you're wanting a little bit more of a space-saving premium, you'll have to go with something else. I also wish the stuff sack was more like the hammock from Warbonnet's stuff sack, where it is made to stay on the item so that I can just slowly slide off the entire thing. And then when I'm done, I can slowly slide on the entire thing. As it is, I end up having this touch the ground almost every time in some way because I don't have that easy capability. I could probably augment this to do it, but I'm not quite at the level of DIY confidence yet to try that kind of thing. Let's see, what else? Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything for it. So I would say this is a good product. This is a good hammock. These tie-out connections everywhere are quite good. I haven't had any of them start to have any problem yet, and I've used this quite a few times. The ridgeline supporter here works quite well. One thing that I would say is I wish that on your initial purchase of any of these, that Warbonnet gave you a guideline kit for how you set it up. You can buy one separately from them, but due to the intricacies of this, I think it would probably be great for people who are early on or getting into trying to use this, or trying to use it optimally, to have some advice from people who are experts at it to be able to do it best. But, you know, business gotta make profit, so I understand. And I hope that this information helps anybody who gets this or is thinking about getting it, how you set it up or how you try to have everything work smoothly for you. And in the future, I've also got the 3-season tent tarp that I've used into winter before, and I'll do a review of that. Yeah, this is great. Keeps the rain out, helps keep the heat in when it's colder, and they also make it in multiple colors. So again, if you are trying to stealth camp, this is not their most discreet color setup that they even have. They've got digicam of multiple types. So, as always, let me know if you have any questions or comments, and have fun out there. Bye.